Okay, this is Peanarchist responding to Awamoti, A-U-A-M-O-T-I. I put his channel link on the sidebar, and he made a personal video to me, my first video response in YouTube since I started 2 fucking years ago. I mostly did either, and I really don't mind publicizing this conversation, because I'm really honored to have this opportunity to actually have conversation with someone who's on the other side of the world. Okay, your first if the Israelites got sick of its statism is a big fucking if, because you have to understand psychologically the culture in Israel. We're continuously taught in school that because we're the chosen ones, everyone wants to kill us. In the religious schools and in the public schools. Like, if you look inside the Bible, you realize, and if you look back in history, the Holocaust, pogroms, etc., they just keep shoving it inside the schools. It's like the whole Second World the whole Second World War is just about the Holocaust. So it's pretty fucked up, and you realize this because of the state is controlling education. Okay, so you can imagine how this education makes us fearful continuously and lower our self-esteem completely. But who is the mother that comes to cover us with its blanket of warmth and security? The state. And you mentioned banning the use of borders to create a free trade society. I'm not going to go into statistics like the North American Trading Agreement, although it's not the same thing, to demonstrate how this could be flawed. Instead, I'm going back to the basic human psyche. Okay? Humans think in words, which means we can only think in one thing or one word at a time. That's why when you show someone a really complex system, he gets confused, because there are too many things, separate things to think about at the same time. As long as the human psyche leans on this, we will need borders and restrictions in every part of our lives. If not, everyone will be confused. But the question is not whether you need or don't need borders and restrictions, but rather, are you prepared to make your own borders and restrictions, or do you need authority? This is the question. You mentioned the crystallization or the community of groups who share the same ideas, and I totally agree. Like attracts, like we always have that. We already have that also here in Israel. There are people, for instance, who believe the only rules, the only legislation should come from the Bible. Those who believe in true democracy, where everyone truly gets a free chance regardless of their religion. And there are those, the continuous majority, who believe there should be a democracy just for the Jews, as it almost is right now, because they are the majority. By the way, I've stopped viewing those different opinions like enemies, for the same reason I've started perceiving the jaguar and gazelle strive as a dance. I agree with your thesis, like attracts like. Okay, you continue, and I'm sorry to pop your balloon, but the economy doesn't necessarily function better under peace. It all depends on what you're selling, guns or toys, etc. I think you can understand this. We can continue. About the more hostile groups, quarantine themselves. This is not a black and white world. Everyone has a hostile and peaceful side. Everyone. Those who strive for hostility usually try to get into your hostile side by getting their desire to. I'll start over. Those who strive for hostility usually try to get into your hostile side to get their desire, as we agreed before, like attracts like, which ultimately means that if they practice long enough, they will master it. By the way, that's what you have right now. Politicians don't tell people what the people want to hear. They can't know the needs of every single individual. Instead, they thrive on words with big meaning to get your attention. Bread, work, honor, epidemic, family, virtue, truth, etc. And there you have it. Peaceful people turn hostile. And this happens to everyone, the Israelites and the Palestinians alike. Here's where most anarchists make the mistake. It's not the belief system that has to change to create freedom. It's self-control and self-awareness. Anarchy is the freedom in believing in whatever you want to believe in, and the freedom to take in the necessary action to reach everyone's personal goals. Every single individual, everyone his own God, without authority, without an outer authority, at least. By the way, if I could formulate a religion, I would have only one commandment which I would preach all day and all night. No. K-N-O-W, no. Of course, some 200 years later, after I die, some lunatic will distort it all. I understand your concerns, but you lean on too many ifs. I just want to add that I had once a great idea for how to create peace in this land. I was sort of a statist then, so I knew the only way we could achieve this was if we were sure to make it while nobody was looking, behind the public's back. There is a personal grudge for family and friends, as you mentioned in the end, but that's not what sets up the spark. You know, that's not the straw that broke the camel's back. At least not with the Palestine side, as I thought at the time. I thought it's the economic breakdown of the whole region that makes them envy us. We've got better schools and hospitals, we've got electricity and water, etc. So I thought back in the day. In this case, with this if, what we do is simple. Create a life so miserably and lame in Israel that they won't even want to spit on our side of the lake. Then one of two will happen. Either peace, or those who have the power will get the fuck out of here, and the lower classes who don't have the economic stature will keep killing each other off. The latter is most likely. So, I'm honored for your personalized video response. Thanks for listening, and I hope we'll talk again soon. See ya.